I need for them to know how much I owe you for what you have done for me.
If you're an avid listener of gospel music, I believe that Kirk Franklin might have made it to your playlist at some point. At a very young age, Kirk Franklin discovered his talent and worked tirelessly ever since to become the legend that he is today in the genre. He has captured the hearts of many with his unique sounds, which some consider to be a little bit extra. That aside, at 54, Franklin just opened up about a struggle that has even threatened his marriage. This revelation shows a totally different side that anyone might not have suspected. But the thing is, this revelation is set to help a lot of people find their bearing. Let's jump right into it. Kirk Franklin's early life was anything but pretty. From the early age of 4, he was already being shown the ugly side of life, as he was abandoned by his own mother. He was born Kirk Smith on January 26, 1970, in Fort Worth, Texas. Left to his fate, he found himself in the loving care of his aunt, Gertrude Franklin, who became the center of his universe. She took him in and taught him everything he knew. Her guidance was the foundation for the growth of Kirk, who has remained grateful to this day. Though he found someone who provided the parental love he desperately needed, life was still very far from ideal. Things weren't looking good financially, and Kirk had to grow up in a rough neighborhood, where he had to confront life on the streets, with the likelihood of mingling with gangs and other rough people in the area. However, Aunt Gertrude was hell-bent on seeing that her nephew turned out just fine. Identifying the passion that Kirk had for music, he joined the singing group at his local church at the age of 4, where he blew the minds of everyone who heard him sing. Some might have realized that this was the making of a legend and helped him become the best version of himself. At 11, he was already conducting the adult wing of the church choir. This dedication to honing his talent will become a memory that he will forever cherish in his life. Outside the church, his environment and financial realities were still his greatest enemies. There was a constant fight not to get involved in the violence and drugs, including affairs of gangs that held sway over the area. His aunt helped him however she could. She engaged in menial jobs just to make sure that Kirk had everything he needed. Having started his piano lessons at the age of 4, Kirk was already becoming a pro, quickly drawing more attention to himself as a rising star. However, Kirk appeared to have given in to the conditions of his environment. He became a kind of rebel against the religious upbringing that he had, but his aunt never gave up on him. Unfortunately for Kirk, he got the shock of his life at age 15, which led him to reconsider some of his life's choices. At 15, Kirk witnessed the death of one of his dear friends, who was unfortunately shot dead. This led Kirk to retrace his steps, quickly realizing that all his aunt wanted for him was for his own good. From then, he got more invested in his local church, where his rise to fame began. He was as innovative as he was talented. Now more invested in his music career, he helped form the gospel group, the Humble Hearts, where he got the opportunity to record some of his compositions, which later caught the attention of Milton Bigham, the musical director of the Georgia Mass Choir. Just like that, Kirk got his shot at the first real thing, marking the beginning of his career as a professional musician who would go on to capture the hearts of many with his unconventional style. Bigham provided the opportunity for Kirk to lead the DFW Mass Choir, with whom he recorded one of his compositions, Every Day with Jesus, and later ended up in the full employ of Bigham. In 1990, at the age of 20, Kirk got the opportunity to perform at the Gospel Music Workshop of America convention. By 1992, Kirk was ready to take his career a step further. If he wanted to play in the big leagues, it was time for him to take the bull by the horns. It was this same year that he formed his own voice choir, The Family. Riding on the success that he had recorded over the years, he got his first signing in 1992. When he got signed by Gospel-Centric Records, with whom they released their debut album the following year. The album was titled Kirk Franklin and Family, as a way of reintroducing himself to a wider audience. Kirk Franklin and Family turned out to be such a statement. Driven by hits like Why We Sing and Silver and Gold, the album blew up like anyone never expected, lasting 42 weeks on the Billboard Top Gospel Albums chart, where it eventually made platinum. Kirk could never have asked for a better turnout. However, this success wasn't just by chance. Kirk and his team found a way to reach a wider audience, a move that most other gospel artists at the time couldn't foresee. His songs found ways to blend traditional gospel songs with some of the elements of hip-hop and R&B, sparking new interests in demographics that ordinarily wouldn't be interested in gospel songs of the time. With the success of the first album, Kirk got the push he needed to continue testing the boundaries. But as you would imagine, despite the wide acceptance of his musical style, some others in the industry, who opted for the more traditional style of gospel songs, saw his moves as outlandish and deviating from the intended purpose of gospel music. These notwithstanding, Kirk stuck to his newly found style, continuing his exploits through the 1990s and 2000s. Kirk satisfied the thirst of his audience with new albums like What You Lookin' For, The New Nation Project, and Hero. What You Lookin' For, released in 1996, turned out to be a game-changer for Kirk, adding to the already massive recognition that he had at the time. The album won him a Grammy for the Best Contemporary Soul Album, owing to the wide appeal that the song got among people, especially the younger demographic. It just seemed like Kirk had cracked a code, providing something that matched the taste in music at the time. Building on that success, hits like Lean on Me and Revolution, both part of his 1998 album The New Nation Project, became another huge success. There was just no stopping for Kirk at this time. This album also provided him the opportunity to lend his voice to some real issues, drawing from his past and present realities. In all these, he never missed the central theme for all his songs, all of which still focused on the spiritual theme. With the year 2002, came another major leap for Kirk with the release of his next album, The Rebirth of Kirk Franklin. This still maintained his unique signature music style, which still, for some reason, didn't appeal to those who favored the more traditional style of gospel music. This album featured a hit like Hosanna, and was definitely not the last time that people would hear from Kirk. At this point, Kirk's rough beginnings were already inconsequential in determining his future. He already carved his niche and was determined to make the best out of it. Looking to inspire such hope of redemption in his listeners, he made this the theme for his next album that followed in 2005. The album was rightfully titled Hope, and some of the popular tracks in it include Looking for You and Imagine Me. Everyone was impressed yet again, and this album ended up earning another Grammy title for Best Contemporary R&B Gospel Album, which continued to inspire Kirk to even improve more on his content. Along the line, he made some notable collaborations that helped boost the success of his music. In 2011, Hello Fear rocked the musical world yet again. He continued his attempts at addressing some societal issues in this album, which also went on to earn him some well-deserved recognitions and accolades. Kirk was a source of inspiration to everyone who wanted to follow the same path, edging them on to remain resilient no matter what. Kirk's entry into the industry was also marked by some notable collaborations that helped Kirk widen his audience base. Let's take a look at some of these collaborations. The queen of hip-hop soul herself, Mary J. Blige, featured in Kirk's 1998 album, where she brought her emotive vocals to complement the more energetic Kirk. They both ended up creating magic with tracks like Lean on Me. As an important trait for Christians, the song promoted themes of support and unity, both of which could make society a better place. This also amplified the desire that Kirk had to bring people from different backgrounds, helping him create his unique tunes. You couldn't guess who else he had on that Lean on Me track. He got to work with R. Kelly, the singer of U2, on this track as well. I mean, what's the fun in maintaining one pattern for gospel music? Kirk was definitely in for the fun and was taking no prisoners. The genius about the whole thing is that he pulled the fan base of each of these collaborators to his side with each experiment. You can as well say he was doing an amazing job in preaching the gospel at the time. However, it was collaborations like this one that made many think that Kirk was crossing the line. Many just thought that he was trying to overthrow the traditional forms. But one thing was undeniable in all of these. None of his experiments turned out to be a mistake in any way. With the longing for continued experimentation with different genres, blended with gospel content, Kirk also got to collaborate with the popular Stevie Wonder in the track Why, from the 2011 album Hello Fear. Stevie is a legend in his own part, known for his impeccable harmonica skills that he brought to the track. This saw a blend of gospel and soul music, which was a genius move considering the outcome. Kirk was able to find a middle ground for the lovers of both genres. Kirk's approach, though unconventional, was achieving the goal that it needed to at the time. More and more people started getting interested in his style of gospel music, contributing to the spread of the preaching. Kirk's life up to that point was just a mirror of his resilience and continued longing to make the best out of his situation. But outside growing his career and carving out a whole new niche for himself, Kirk focused also on some other more personal aspects of his life. He took a shot at building a family of his own, adding to his story and making it even more interesting. His marriage was filled with its own challenges, especially when its peace was threatened by what Kirk just confessed to. Stick around and let's find out what this was together. As Kirk advanced in his career, he met and married Tammy Collins on the 20th of January, 1996. Just like many celebrity marriages, the couple has been through their own fair share of challenges, especially one that comes with the burden of fame. The challenge most of the couples that fall into this category face is usually with privacy for their personal life. If one isn't careful, most things are likely to be blown out of proportion, which usually results in more trouble for them. But in the case of Tammy and Kirk, they have tried to keep most things about their personal life private, at least until Kirk decided to willingly come forward with the recent revelation. Tammy and Kirk have 3 beautiful children together, Carrion, Kennedy, and Keziah. Added to the 3 is Tammy's daughter from a previous marriage, Carrington, who has been taken in fully as a member of the family. Together, they have all helped Kirk be the best version of himself, helping him weather the storm that usually accompanies his career. Now, to the issue at hand. One of the challenges that the couple has ever made public about their marriage is Kirk's struggle with pornography. This has been something that he battled for years as a young man, and he admitted that this was starting to affect his marriage. Consequently, he had to seek help in counseling and therapy, which helped him overcome the addiction. He was obviously skeptical to be open about these issues right from the beginning, for obvious reasons. For one, his status as a celebrity makes it likely that it could be blown out of proportion, not minding that this might be an issue that is widely spread. And on the other hand, he was a gospel artist, and wasn't sure how people would feel to hear he had such an addiction. Being put in such a position could drive one insane, but luckily for Kirk, he had Tammy right beside him as he worked on himself. According to Kirk, one thing that pushed him to come out with this is that he is sure he isn't alone in the struggle. He wanted to create the consciousness and encourage anyone who is going through the same challenge to seek help just like he did. It's never an easy task to overcome addictions, but with the proper guidance and the right people by your side, everything is possible. Kirk and his wife Tammy have been strong in the face of everything that they have encountered. For this, Kirk has always publicly appreciated her for being his major support through all the trials, as they try to provide a stable environment for their children to grow. Considering Kirk's history with his own parents, one would understand why he would be so interested in seeing that his own family works out just fine. However, with family, there is never a formula that fits all. There has been leaked news of a heated issue that Kirk had with his first son, Carrion. No one was sure how that happened, but a lot of people got to know about the rift. This goes to show the challenges of living a life in the spotlight. There is rarely any room for privacy. Regardless, with a strong foundation and their shared faith, Kirk and Tammy have been able to hold things together over the years, allowing them to maintain a certain level of stability in their marriage. When compared to some other celebrity marriages, they have a pretty solid one and have remained exemplary ever since. They continue to strengthen their bonds through vacations and other moments that they share together as family. Kirk came a really long way, from a 4-year-old abandoned by his mother to life growing up in a rough neighborhood while facing deplorable conditions due to financial constraints, to someone who actually transformed the gospel music industry. History will forever remain kind to him. Having the courage to come forward with the challenges that he faced with his pornography addiction might just have been about the boldest thing that he has ever done. Considering his place, such an admission could have a serious impact on his public image. Thanks to him, his courage will now be a stepping stone for anyone out there looking to break free from any kind of addiction. With all the years behind him, Kirk has remained an influential figure in the music industry. He continues to make strides that place him on the map. In 2019, he released another album with the title Long Live Love. And just to show that the master hasn't lost his touch, the album ended up winning a Grammy Award for Best Gospel Album, solidifying his place in the industry after so many years of being in it. The following year was also rosy for Kirk. He has singles like Love Theory and Just For Me, which became major hits, providing new sounds for his fans. All along, Kirk maintained his unique musical style, which continues to appeal to even new audiences by the year. These are testaments to the timelessness of his style. Love Theory was particularly a chart-topping track in 2020. With his wealth of knowledge and advancement in the industry, he has taken the position of a mentor and a producer in the industry at the moment. Looking back at the challenges that he had while growing up, he is now dedicated to making sure that other rising talents won't have to face the same challenges on their way up the ladder. One of his most popular recent appearances is in the BET show Sunday Best, where he plays the role of a judge, helping vet young talents looking to make it into the industry. Moving further, one of the recurring themes in his songs has been everyday social issues. He has also been dedicating his time as an advocate, making sure that proper attention is drawn to some of these issues. Looking back at where he came from and the death of his friend when he was 15, he definitely wants to see things change for the better. What memory do you have of the timeless pieces that Kirk has created over the years? Let's talk in the comments. We wish Kirk and his family all the best, and you can subscribe and follow for more interesting videos. We will see you in the next one.